And here we are at the Air Radio Network, the radio show that's now a video show, Big Daddy, and Lee Lakin, of course.
I forgot my name.
In his hat. No, I didn't. I was stalling. Ask anybody in radio. I remember I told you that story about how my old teacher at school put me in a room and we were supposed to talk about something before running out. And I talked for 2 hours and the teacher finally said, Russ, go.
Yeah,
you know,
next.
Next, please.
Next.
I can keep talking forever.
Next, please.
What are we all about, Mr.
We are all about bringing you some local news and, of course, the funny, great part of the show, Leah's
Local
Trivia.
news.
Well,
He's so used to doing the local show.
local show, yeah. No, we bring you world news
Yeah.
on the Air Radio broadcast here.
We have another show we do locally for our community.
And of course, we always finish off with the great Leah Trivia that we always have, and we love
have fun.
We love the trivia that we have. You can check it out on our Facebook pages as well, but we love talking about it. So.
Well, it's the world according to what happened this week. It's trivia from this week. It's kind of like the Top 40 Timeline radio show that we do, only it's all talk all the time. And instead of playing the records between, now we have fun. And we're loosey-goosey, which means we might have a few
interesting comments
purple
and
words from now and on. But not, we don't make the show all about that.
No.
But it's about
absolutely not.
the Air Radio Network and our radio stations, basically what we do. We have FM108.ca, which is the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And we have a very large following with that. All the original jocks are there from 40 years ago, including me, in the morning. And we have Bert Tom's middays during the week. And,
Bert is great. I do enjoy his show.
He'll be at the radio reunion.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we'll get to that in a sec. And we have Glenn Darling, the Godfather in the afternoon. We have Steve West at night. On the weekend, we have a ton of great oldies radio shows. If you like the old Cousin Brucey style of radio, the old Dave Mickey style of radio that's not heard anymore,
It's a good way of putting it.
you can tune in on the weekend and you get Rich Appel with that thing with Rich Appel. You get the Top 40 Timeline. We have all of our stuff from years gone by, all archive shows on every week. This weekend, it's August 1983. Take you back in time, and we take you to that week in history. We pull the TV shows that you used to watch, the big movies that week, what the top 5 was, and we play, all that. So that's what, and we have so many great oldie shows. Radio GTA is a free-form radio station dedicated to both. I guess freeform radio of days gone by,
Pretty much, yeah.
with CFNY and David Marsden in mind. But it's all the genres together. It's a music box of music from 60 to 70 years of music, and a lot of Canadian stuff. It's for music lovers, and we have interesting little tidbits that we put on the air as well. So we have some fun with it. And to the radio reunion people, I'm posting this week. We are having a radio reunion at the Symposium Restaurant in Georgetown, October the 22nd. It's a Saturday. And there's going to be people like, for instance, Mike Devine, the morning guy at Seajoy in Guelph, will be there.
Barks.
And Barks can't make it.
Oh, he can't make it?
He's busy with his baseball.
Oh,
with the Guelph Royals, I think.
Yeah, he's a busy guy, too.
Well, Barks is a busy guy, but one day we'll meet. And who else is going to be there? Craig Fox from Brantford, who does mornings there with a country station. And Mark Panopoulos, I believe, will be there. Bert Toms will be there from FM 108. And Peter Stamp will be there.
Oh, yeah. Especially after him coming here, he definitely is going to be
great
there.
Guy.
Wonderful.
And my band, Crazy Chester, will be playing there that night as well.
It's going to be a day I'm going to remember. Some days you got to dedicate to yourself, and I'm dedicating this day to me because I'm going to meet all the people I will, like Larry Silver at CFTR, great immortal newsman. Hey, remember Larry?
Oh, God,
and Keith Bradford at Channel 7 Eyewitness News. Remember Keith?
Oh, yeah.
And he was at CKLW, part of the 2020 news team. So all these people are coming, and we're looking forward to it. Now, moving on with our regular stuff.
Today's show brought to you by Tourism Canada.
Yes.
For anybody watching this outside of Canada, come on, enjoy and see our beautiful
Saskatchewan, as the feature this week on our newscasts on all of our radio stations. We have national weather every hour.
Haven't been to Saskatoon, eh?
That's right. But you know, when you talk about Saskatchewan, you can see your dog walking away for a week.
Yeah, pretty much.
Flatter than, well, never mind. But it's a beautiful place. And if you've ever seen corner gas, that's Saskatchewan.
Yeah, exactly.
And it is. That's the people, down to earth people, beautiful people, beautiful cities like Saskatoon and Prince Albert's and Regina, where the legislature is. Just gorgeous, the legislature downtown Regina there. Yeah. And yeah, we promote Canada here. Now, I'll get on to some of the news headlines very quickly here. What is it with all these animals in China?
People, stop banging animals.
Really? Scientists are keeping an eye on a new virus that appears to have been transmitted from animals to humans in China and causes symptoms similar to COVID-19 or the flu. Researchers wrote in the New England Journal of Medicine last Thursday that 35 patients in the Shandong and Henan provinces of China were confirmed to have been infected by the Leah virus. Now, when is Walmart going to put the Leah stuff in the stores? When is that going in?
I've heard it's going to be a couple of weeks.
Okay, yeah, just ahead of Christmas then.
Yeah.
So we
make
have
a great
this,
stocking
so
stuffer.
you might want to think about this new one and get your masks and your logos ready, folks, because it's going to be called the Leah virus. And we thought it was the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man that was coming above, that our next problem was going to be.
Right.
You know, and it ends up being, what is it again? The Leah virus. And you heard it here, folks. First.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, what else is going on?
The night before the federal government invoked the Emergencies Act in response to the Freedom Convoy protests, the Prime Minister's National Security Advisor told him there was a potential for a breakthrough in Ottawa, and the court documents did show that. So
what a shit show
it did turn into a hell of a shit show. And you know, it's still really the fact we're still talking about this just shows how much of an impact it actually did have.
Oh yeah,
right.
Oh, yeah. And the U.S. Department of Justice has asked a court to unseal the search warrant used by the FBI to enter Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate this last week. It just gets more and more CNN-ish. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
all these news stories.
But the guy took classified documents home.
Yeah.
Out of the White House.
Yeah.
That from what I understand, that's an automatic 5 years in jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they couldn't impeach the guy because it was just.
How has he sidestepped all this other stuff?
Exactly. Like the guy just his lawyers must have beautiful homes and boats and cars, and the amount of money they're making off of this guy is just incredible. So. Yeah.
Some sad news for Leaf fans.
This kind of shocked a few of us this week. A big hero of mine, I know a big hero of yours, former Toronto Maple Leaf defenseman Borje Salming has been diagnosed with ALS, or otherwise known as Lou Gehrig's disease. The team announced this on Wednesday. It really hit home with me. I grew up, as you did, watching Borje Salming. Here in Acton, in Georgetown, when I was playing rep hockey, I actually wore the Jofa helmet that he wore, and everybody made fun of me because it looked so Russian, so to speak. And guys made fun of me.
He's from Sweden.
Exactly. It was actually, that's it, exactly. It was a Swedish design. But believe it or not, I was a goaltender, so I had pucks coming at me at 100 miles an hour all the time. It was one of the best helmets I ever had, and it was because of Borje Salming. I wore that helmet. And
I remember sitting as a little girl in the living room because Dad never missed a game, and watching Borje Salming.
Do you remember?
He was one of the ones I always remembered, even as I got older.
Do you remember the game he got the 21 stitches in his face?
Yeah,
I do.
remember that. But the guy was a warrior.
He was absolutely.
And a great hockey player. He had great skills. Just ask Don Cherry, he'll tell you. And but Borje, if you looked at him in later years, you could tell he's still taking care of his body.
Yeah.
And he's just I don't think there's an ounce of fat on Borje Salming even now. And he had such determination, and he was such a lovable man. He really was.
Absolutely.
And he still is.
Yeah.
But to be diagnosed with such a horrible disease, a disease, Lou Gehrig's disease.
No cure.
No cure has been found yet, although research is going on.
Yeah. Yeah, there are treatments to slow it down.
I lost my mother. Same with
MS.
Lou Gehrig's disease. I lost my mom. I lost my best friend to Lou Gehrig's disease. Yeah. I've lost many, many friends, the people I've loved and known, to Lou Gehrig's disease. Let's get rid of this thing. And, to say a prayer for Boreas Salming, because if you were a forward back in the other day,
it's a shitty way to die.
I tell you, it is. And thank God that they turn everything off at the end and let you go gracefully, because it's a sad, sad thing. And the fact that we haven't found a cure yet, don't give up hope, folks.
No.
It's something that I've always been closely tied to, is the ALS Society and the ALS Foundation, but what a shocker! When you think of a guy so fit.
Yeah.
And the same with Lou Gehrig. I mean, he was a fit guy too. It hits everybody.
You cannot prevent, no matter how healthy or unhealthy you are, you can't prevent these things from happening. So
on a sad side of hockey, another sad side in a different way, Hockey Canada is trying to salvage the World Juniors. In the middle of the scandal, there's a World Juniors going on right now, low tickets, which is sad, man. I mean, this is our national game. And what about Gord Lewis?
I know, that's a tragic story coming out of Hamilton. Gord Lewis, lead guitarist of, they say a Canadian punk band, but Teenage Head wasn't a punk band.
They're a rock and roll band.
He had been found murdered in his Hamilton apartment. The Toronto Sun confirmed this. The musician's son, Jonathan Lewis, 41, has been charged with second-degree murder. Just a shocking story. Hits a bit close to home. My bass player, Ken, was very close with them. He was their sound guy for many years. They played here. They played Georgetown High School. They played the old, what we called Shit and Pull.
I saw them.
Downtown. Several times they played here.
They were a legendary band worldwide, not just in Canada. People always associate them with Hamilton because that's where they're from. And Disgustine is one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
It makes me want to run out and watch a horror movie when I hear that song.
And of course, we lost another icon this week.
Olivia Newton-John. I do want to say that Mark Panopoulos was a good friend of the whole band he's our anchor guy down in Hamilton. And he was a good friend.
Yeah.
And so we're saying a prayer and God bless him. Yes, we lost Olivia Newton-John this week.
She's been fighting cancer for so long.
Yeah.
How can you not love Olivia Newton-John?
Oh God! Just to look at her, you like smile.
Yeah. Well, she's such she had the energy coming out of her, and she had, she was singing ballads like Please Mr. Please, and If Not For You in the 70s, and then she showed her other side. She was into fitness and the physical, and the dance music came in. And Grease, of course. Who could ever, that really...
I'd get physical with her.
She was already a star before Grease, though.
Yeah.
She was already a pop star before Grease. And she was born in Cambridge, England, not Australia, although she did grow up in Australia.
Yeah, she moved there when she was 5.
Yeah.
She was born in the UK and then moved there when she was 5. So, she considered herself an Australian, and rightfully so, I think. And from what I hear, they're actually doing a state ceremony for her. So, well-deserved, I think. And,
she's kind of like in my mind, I think of her in the same as I think of Princess Diana, but in another way.
Yeah.
Just a pretty gal that was that just...
That's a really good way of putting it, buddy.
Made everyone smile,
Yeah.
When you saw her, she did fight hard. She did. God bless her.
And she made it to 73. So she fought very hard to get that far. And because like Leah was saying, she had been fighting it for so long. To last that long was just shows you how much of a true fighter she was. So rest in peace, Olivia. And we still have all your songs and videos to remember you by. So
absolutely. And
our friends in Newfoundland, they've been fighting fires out there so bad. And the biggest problem with the fires, this is the worst one they've had since 1961, the Premier had said. But the biggest issue they've had is because of the fires, they can't chopper out supplies to people in the small rural
Well, because it's
counties.
right in the heart of the area that
The smoke, they can't
transportation
fly in there, and I feel so bad for these people. They're running out of food and water and all kinds of stuff.
And
so
BC, same thing. I mean, and it's getting scary. I keep holding my breath every time I go to work and bring up the news. What am I going to be reporting on today? Because I do news on stations all over the world, whatever. But I'm worried. I don't want to. Especially about the BC area, because we lost an entire town last year, folks.
Yeah.
Lytton is gone. You know, let's hope, to God's sake, that doesn't happen to another town there.
Absolutely.
Because you know, the interior of BC is getting hot. Last week it was up in the 30s again.
Well, plus you've got places
because I'm
like
the weather guy too.
There's
places,
no rain.
You know, you got places as well like France right now. They're just crazy with fires that are going on. So it's just it's a sad, you know, and what a way to lose stuff. You know, like at least a flood you can still salvage some pictures or this or that, whereas a fire.
And let's get on with the China thing and get it out of the way.
Get these out of the way.
What does that mean? How many minutes are we?
15.
1-5.
Oh, we're at 15 minutes past? Okay, well, we'll move on here because it's... what's going on with China?
I know. They announced the suspension of dialogue with the U.S. in a number of areas on Friday, countering the recent visit to Taiwan by the U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Again, are we in high school here? How childish are we?
Why are you poking the bear? You know what I mean? Why are you poking the bear? We already got Russia and the Ukraine going at it.
Well, that's it. Because they're going at it, China feels now that they can go ahead and take over Taiwan.
Well, if they do, I mean, they do. I mean, what are you going to do? What are we going to do about it? We can't do it. But, you know, why poke the bear? You know, sometimes... are we the bad guys or are they the bad guys?
Exactly.
I think they're all the same.
I think they're all a bunch of freaking tools.
Yeah. And
pull your ass out of your, or pull your head out of your ass, and you know what? Go take a vacation, all of you.
Now, looking at sports very briefly here, the Alouettes, they finally beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Yeah.
Blue Bombers come out 9-0. 9-0.
Right on.
And now the Alouettes finally beat them. As a matter of fact, every Eastern team in the CFL has been pissed on by teams in the West. Mm-hmm. They're just kicking their ass. Mm-hmm. And it's nice to see Montreal actually beat a Western team. But thank God that Winnipeg didn't go unbeaten. I'd never be able to live that down if that ever happened as an Argo and a Tiger Cat fan. But of course, and they're playing soon too, the Tiger Cats and the Argos. But what else is going on? Calgary, they beat the Ottawa Red Blacks. Bill Russell's number 6 jersey's been retired throughout the NBA. That's a first for the league, as a matter of fact. And Bill Russell was...
Oh, iconic. Again, guy I grew up watching play basketball.
It's like he had something holding the ball onto his hand, like he had glue or something.
Yeah, stick him on there.
And the ball always seemed to jump up into... And he was a huge guy.
Yeah.
And just an amazing talent. So there's some good news there. You'll never see the number 6 again. Sadly, Edmonton Oilers superfan Ben Stelter, he has died at the age of 6. Long battle with cancer. Big fan of the Oilers.
And the Oilers just adored this kid. Like,
just beautiful,
Yeah, every game he was in the dressing room, and he was a part of the team. Yeah. He really was a part of the team. So,
and we got Serena Williams.
Serena Williams, one of the greatest tennis athletes of all time. She's won more tournaments than any other tennis player worldwide. Stated on Tuesday that she'll retire from tennis following the 2022 U.S. Open at the end of August. So. A great illustrious career for her, and she gets some time to enjoy life.
And now it's time to have fun on the
Leah's Trivia.
On the video show that used to be a radio show. It still is a radio show. Brought to you by Joe's Tasty Tracks Marshmallow Bananas. We have, folks, the amazing Leah's Trivia.
There we go.
Where we dig out stuff that you guys don't know, that we don't know until, well, we do know, but... I don't know where she finds it.
She finds a lot of great stuff, but just a wee fact. It wasn't so much this week or whatever in a certain year, but this is a cool wee little fact. Carlos Santana's guitar necks and fretboards are constructed out of a single solid piece of Brazilian rosewood. And this does help create a smooth, like singing glass-like tone for what she's known for. Because a lot of guitar players try to mimic that sound. And unless you got one of those guitars, man.
Isn't that something? I often wondered how Hendrix got that sound. And now we know. Now we know.
Santana.
Hendrix. Wasn't Hendrix.
Santana.
Oh, I thought it was Carlos Santana. Well, Hendrix had that same kind of...
Well, the other thing, too, with him was because he played left-handed, they didn't make left-handed guitars back then. Nobody made a left-handed guitar back then. Yeah. So he had to take a right-handed guitar and learn how to play it that way.
So it was Carlos Santana. My apologies.
Yeah.
My apologies.
So he
I hear that in my head now. Yeah.
He had a very distinct sound to him, right?
But so did Hendrix, too. I'm sure he had a special guitar, didn't he? Oh, I could be wrong. Anyway, this week in 1973, it was, of course, the first big oldies revival. Kicks off in earnest as George Lucas in the new movie American Graffiti
his
opens.
favorite movie.
Yeah, it's my favorite movie. Set in 1962, the film creates a wave of nostalgia for songs from the 50s and early 60s. The soundtrack is stuffed with 41 songs, including Runaway by Del Shannon.
I love Runaway.
Little Darlin' by the Diamonds from Rockwood, Ontario. And Ain't That a Shame by Fats Domino. The Great Pretender by the Platters, who come up later in the hour, as a matter of fact, here. We talk about them. And so many more. And, of course, the movie is iconic, really, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Wolfman Jack, my favorite scene in that movie, where he's eating popsicles in the studio.
I think it was the first time he was actually seen on video, was it not?
Yeah.
Because everybody heard him, but they never
Everyone
saw him.
thought Wolfman was one of my all-time favorites. Met him a few times. The thing about the Wolfman is they thought he was a black guy.
Yeah.
They actually thought he was a black guy. Yeah. Because,
Wolfman, baby.
You got a bunch of radio guys together. We're going to be talking like the Wolfman.
We're going to spin some platters for you, baby. Coming up.
Everyone does the Wolfman, right? But my favorite scene was have a popsicle, man. My freezer died, man. You got to eat these things up. And just the whole... That's one of my favorite all-time movie scenes is with Dreyfuss and Wolfman in that studio.
Oh, God, yeah.
And Suzanne Summers, of course, was the gal that Dreyfuss was trying to get to. But the Wolfman came through, baby. You know what I mean? But I love that movie.
All right, 1959, the 4 male singers in the Platters are arrested in Cincinnati for aiding and abetting prostitution.
The Great Pretender.
They're acquitted of the charges, but the incident strains relations with their female singer, Zola Taylor, and gets them removed from some of the playlists. So, yeah, they were caught in a brothel.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the boys are out having fun, I guess.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, baby.
Well, just because it's 1959 doesn't mean to say that the musicians didn't want to have a good time once in a while.
Exactly.
But they were, that would have happened today. It would have been nothing. I mean, no one would have even mentioned it. But it was the Platters. They're the group that sang The Great Pretender and Harbor Lights and all those classic songs. And it wasn't good for their, so-called worldwide image persona. In 1972, during their Wings Over Europe tour, Paul and Linda McCartney are arrested in Sweden for possession of drugs.
It was pot.
McCartney joked that the arrest would make good publicity for the tour. And it did, as a matter of fact.
Absolutely.
But it was weed.
It was weed. That's all they had. It was.
By the way, it's
heavy duty.
By the way, it's legal in Canada.
Yeah.
And Amsterdam as well. And we've become the Amsterdam of North America, haven't we? I guess in a way.
Yeah.
We have pot shops all over the place.
This story I actually do remember. 1985, while taking part in a yacht race, Duran Duran singer Simon Le Bon is trapped along with 5 other team members after his boat capsizes. The British Coast Guard scrambled to rescue the stricken crew, and after repairs to its keel, the vessel goes on to take 3rd place. And he wasn't injured, but it was a pretty scary moment, and I do remember when that happened, actually. So that was
Duran Duran's back. They have a new album.
Yeah.
And it's, as a matter of fact, I was watching an interview with Andy Taylor and Simon Le Bon on YouTube last night, and their new album is fresh, but it's not retro.
Yeah.
It's not. It's today. It's the new sound, and I admit I wouldn't have known it was Duran Duran had I heard the song, but the tunes aren't bad on the album.
Cool.
So he's back, and then we have, of course, well, this is a good one here. In 2012, the bands Kiss and Motley Crue donate $100,000 together to their families of the victims of the Aurora, Colorado Dark Knight shooting. Remember that?
Yeah.
And,
unfortunately, yes.
The massacre occurred Friday, July the 20th of that year in 2012 at the movie theater showing The Dark Knight Rises, and James Egan Holmes bursts into the theater with guns blazing. It was a terrible night, but rock and roll, again, like in so many other instances, comes to the aid of everyone for a good cause, and our hats off.
Love my partners in the music industry for the most part. They're very, very generous and willing to support. You know, you look at things like Live Aid and things like that. You know, like Farm Aid, all that stuff.
When you think of Kiss and Motley Crue, you think of hard-nosed rockers. Well, they're real people, folks.
And they do have a heart.
Of course they do.
1969, the Beatles shoot their photo for their Abbey Road album cover at the Crosswalk outside Abbey Road Studios, where they were recording at the time. Fans may have nested clues in the shot of the 4 band members walking in stride across the street, fueling rumors that Paul McCartney is dead because he's the one with no shoes on.
That's right. And that whole thing was a political, or not a political, but a promotional.
It was purely promotional.
And they were thinking.
And yet he's one of the only ones still alive. You know, him and Ringo.
Radio stations at the time went on the air and said, "Paul is dead. Paul is dead."
He's dead. Yeah.
And they had all these, and everyone believed that he was dead. He's not dead.
That's another thing, like the War of the Worlds. You know,
or Elvis. Only Elvis was dead.
No, Elvis. I think Elvis is alive. I think he owns a burger place in Ypsilanti, Michigan, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And but Elvis is dead too, folks. Yeah. All right. So this week in 1963, when I was a kid, I used to love these on the TV. Beach Party, starring Frankie Avalon, of course, and Annette Funicello. It opens in theaters. It's the first of many movies with a beach theme, and it features music by the surf rock pioneer Dick Dale, of course. 24 years later, Frankie and Annette appear in Back to the Beach, where they are now parents of crazy teenagers. I remember that movie. So the beach movies, of course, were big.
Yeah, and Dick Dale was an iconic guitar player.
Oh yeah.
When it came to that, because he also played in a lot of the Elvis beach movies. You know, every time I hear a guitar played by Dick Dale, I know it's Dick Dale. I know it's him. You can pick him out. The guy was just iconic. He's got some great tunes.
Oh, yeah.
1970, the Goose Lake International Music Festival was held in Leone, Michigan, with over 200,000 fans attending the 3-day festival. Festival goers built a giant peace symbol out of empty pop and beer cans. Acts who appeared included Jethro Tull, 10 Years After, Mountain, Chicago, Bob Seger, John Sebastian, the James Gang, Stooges with Iggy Pop, Brownsville Station, MC5, Rod Stewart, and the Flying Burrito Brothers.
My God.
What a hell of a show that would have been, man. I would have loved to have seen that.
I wonder how much the tickets were for that.
I know,
1970.
70 was probably, I bet you, $5.
$5 or $6, $6.50.
Yeah, something like that, I bet you.
Jethro Tull at 10 Years After. And the others as well. I mean, just a huge...
One guy I am so
Seger. All these
dying
guys
to
on the
see
same stage.
is Bob Seger.
Yeah.
I have always been a big Bob Seger fan, and he's one guy I've never seen. I've seen a lot of bands, but
Bob Seger came out of Detroit, and he wouldn't have had the success if it wasn't for a lady by the name of Rosalie Tremblay, who was the music director at CKLW Radio, giant radio station, CKLW, everybody in the Big 8, and without CKLW, Bob Seger, Alice Cooper, Elton John.
Yeah,
they pushed Elton John.
there was a lot of stations wouldn't play his stuff.
CKLW came in, and Rosalie had a remarkable ear for music, and they're putting a statue together for her in Windsor because of she's just one of the icons of rock and roll radio. I mean, she. So when you sorry to stray.
Yeah,
but, But when you said Bob Seger, I wanted to say that about Rosalie because she's got a statue coming up. Of course, we lost Rosalie a few years ago, and Bob Seger even has a song called Rosalie.
Rosalie, yeah.
And it's dedicated to her, of course.
All right, last one.
1981, the animated sci-fi film Heavy Metal is released.
You had to be really stoned to watch that.
Yes. It shares its name with the hard rock genre, of course. The film isn't intended to have anything to do with music, though, but instead is an anthology of various stories from the comic magazine Heavy Metal. That's what it was all about. Almost as an afterthought, an all-star soundtrack is added, featuring songs by Sammy Hagar, Devo, Blue Oyster Cult, Cheap Trick, Journey, and Black Sabbath, to name a few. So it's an important day in 1981 in rock and roll movie history with Heavy Metal.
Heavy Metal.
Yeah. But I didn't know it wasn't made about music.
No, it wasn't.
I thought it was the music. It was an afterthought.
It was a very dark stories. Like the stories that were in it were very dark. So adding, guys like Black Sabbath and stuff like that to it was easy to do as an afterthought. But yeah, it was never intended to be about heavy metal music. It was more, and it was a new style of animation that they were also doing at the time as well. It wasn't your typical, Tom and Jerry and Bugs Bunny and stuff like that. So it was a very different kind of animation that they were doing. So yeah, I've seen it a few times, but again, you need to be really, magic mushrooms and heavy metal go really well together.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to check out Leah's trivia, she's on our Facebook groups, on our radio stations, Radio GTA, FM108.ca, and our local radio station, Halton Hills Streaming, Halton Hills Online. Streaming. That's where they're found there. And she works very hard on digging up the news, and she works extremely hard on the pictures.
Yes, very much.
Which
so we've been told.
And people in the industry have been buzzing me on the email saying, love that trivia stuff. And they do. People love that because you're so sick and tired of watching somebody's dinner on your Facebook.
Yeah.
This is what I had for... What is with that?
Hey,
I love my friends, don't get me wrong. And if you do this, don't be offended. But
I love it when people post, I'm eating this at the Red Harp. Wow, good. Now I know you're not home. I'm going to go rob your house.
There you go. And it looks very nice. I'm not saying that. But what is this infatuation with, I'm eating this tonight? But I guess people have different hobbies.
Well, in some ways it's a good thing. Though when you think about it, it's boosting that business.
Yeah.
As long as they're mentioning the business, right?
That's a good idea. Maybe
Absolutely.
we should do something like that. But I just can't understand, but as a fat guy, it always makes me hungry. It always makes me want to go out and get, like one of my buddies. It was my buddy Tarzan Dan in Calgary.
Right.
He put a picture of an ice cream with a chocolate flake coming out of it. And I wanted one at 4 o'clock this morning.
Dan. I love that name.
Huh?
I love
Tarzan
that name.
Dan.
Yeah.
Oh, Tarzan Dan, he is one guy that inspired me probably more than anybody else. Him and Jim Brady. I mean, legendary guy. And I don't know if Tarzan can make it. Buddy, if you're watching this and you're up there, of course he's a big star in Calgary now too. But I grew up idolizing him as a kid. He's not that much older than me though. Anyway, we're just about done. How many minutes are we?
There we are. We are done.
Oh, we're done? We're done?
Once again, brought to you by Tourism Canada. For anybody...
Saskatchewan, Tourism Saskatchewan this week.
Head to Saskatchewan, check out all the flatlands. You could throw a baseball and it'll roll for days.
That's right. You can see your dog walk away for 6 months.
Yep, pretty much.
It's so flat.
It's a great place to visit, but, we're proud to bring you the local or the international news every single week.
There's a fly buzzing around.
Yeah, we've got them buzzing all over the place. They're driving me crazy.
For a long time.
I don't know the one we say for.
No, I just say that it's just Halton Hills, Ontario, Canada. Canada's hometown, broadcasting to the world as always, and we're loosey goosey worldwide chime time.
There you go, worldwide chime time.
There you go, and. Did you want to say anything first? No, you go ahead.
No,
we're done. We're brought to you by Saskatchewan. As I mentioned, you can see your dog walk away for 6 months.
For Big Daddy Russ Horton, I'm Lee Lakin, Leah Lylewood. Have yourself a fantastic weekend. Thank you all for tuning in. We love all of our viewers very, very much. Be safe out there, and we'll catch everybody on the B-side.
Check our radio stations out.
Please.
We're going to have another banana.
Because we have Don Cherry.
Don Cherry, too. Don't forget Don. Did we get that in there? Very important we get Don in there, my son.